Okay, welcome to episode 12 of Abundance. This is part two of two, talking about airships. So, just a recap from the last episode where I kind of showed, the Hindenburg stuff and talking about hydrogen, oxygen production. I also talked about a great science fiction short story that I linked to online versions and the audiobook version. Um, the Machine Stops from 1909. So it's so old. It's over under 20 years old. It's in the public domain, almost 120 years. And so it's that one talks about automated airship travel across the entire world. And I also showed this Planisphère map, which shows routes across the entire world for steam and for electric. And I believe there was automated airship travel, and of course, if you're able to do automated travel on a route, a path with an airship, it's simple to do the same thing with something like a boat, a steamship on the ocean, or in some other type of environment, and also motorized theoretically. But the landscape, going over land doesn't make a lot of sense. Uh, Automating a travel because it'd have to go over a road that's winding a lot, right? For the terrain. So the airship, automated airship, though, makes sense because we just have we're doing a line of sight, right? And my premise here is let me make sure. Yeah. Last time I had some issues last time with the video cutting off and the audio not working right. But uh there's a lot of I believe the truth is in plain sight for a lot of this stuff, and there's a lot of duping delight at play. For instance, um, we had in World War I, we had there was like a shortage in Germany because they were using the cow intestines for the bladders envelopes for hydrogen gas to put inside of the airships, right? So when we're talking about the land of milk and honey, right, the garden, there would be many, many types of animal skins available, not just cattle, not just cows, but goats and sheep. They all produce milk. Yeah, you don't drink sheep's milk, but sheep's milk cheese is delicious, at least the stuff I've had. Um, and they had I talked a bit about these inflated bullock skins that there's no discussion about these related to airships, but I believe this is some duping delight where native peoples were obtaining, preparing, getting animal skins that then would be filled with hydrogen and put into airships. But in the historical account, these bullock skins were used just to like float down the river with, which makes no sense. Like what? Why, why would it's so inefficient for you to use that as a boat, right? It makes sense though that you're going to put it in the river and float down to make sure it's airtight, that it's sealed up properly and it doesn't have any holes in it. So then you can say, oh, we can use it now, fill it with hydrogen, and we can use it in the airship. Um, and let's see that. So anyway, I talked about that a bit. This is like a wall panel relief where they're showing these guys. Um, these guys are supposedly floating down a river on top of animal skins. But anyway, it's interesting. So let me put forth this premise here, this idea. This is just a photo of a hotel in Jerome, Arizona, and at the very top, the name Hotel Connor, and then the supposed date of construction there is 1898. Okay, and if you look at, I don't have it up, but if you search or have any type of old world stone buildings around in your city, town, or a nearby town or a big city, like there's so many in the whole world. They're really worth checking out because you will see these dates, supposed dates of construction, are always wrong. So it's kind of windy. Hopefully the noise canceling. Um, We'll see. The still video still working. The dates of construction are supposedly displayed really prominently, way up to high. Not always high, but like there's also like a lot of buildings that have been flooded out, buried by silt and mud, a lot. And so I was watching some video a while ago, months ago, uh, talking about old world buildings, and they were talking, oh, the impossibility of these structures and how do they build them with a horse and carriage, and where's the machinery and the equipment, where's the building plans. Spoiler: the building plans, I believe, 100% are stored in as holographic data inside of crystals. But in I don't have the comment saved, but in this video I watched, one of the comments, someone asked, like, what construction developer, what builder puts the date, the year of construction displayed way up high on top of a building, like way up, like prominently displayed? Why? Well, the people who commissioned or paying for the building wanted the date. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Sure, having a plaque or something on a cornerstone saying when it was built, but having it prominently displayed so that when you're looking at it, oh, what is that? You don't care the date. You don't care 1898. You care the function. Oh, this is a hotel. This is a library. This is a restaurant, or a hospital, or this is some industrial technical building for me to get work done on machinery or replacement parts or something like that. A parts store. But you don't care about the date. And there's all these buildings with these supposed dates of construction. So my claim, this is for entertainment purposes only, my thought, my idea is that these dates are not dates. They are radio frequency ID numbers for automated airship travel. Okay, so that the frequencies of the in the ultra low frequency spectrum is 300 hertz to 3000 hertz. So all of these dates going back, 1,000 years on, there's buildings, with, oh, it's Europe, this building 1511, and this one 1328 or something, right? All those numbers fit in that radio frequency ID rate, or that radio frequency range of ultra low frequency that travels through the ground and through the water for many, many miles. Okay. So, and there's, well, let me keep going. This is my main claim on this when we're talking about airships, and I'm not going to go into more of the like actual airship stuff, but I'm going to talk more about this idea. So let's keep. I got a bunch of different topics or tabs to go through. Yeah, talking when we're talking about the old world buildings and videos, when you see buildings or see videos where they're talking about old buildings, there's this idea of antiquitech, and there's a lot of misinfo, I believe, related to our stolen history. Um, this is the Reddit subreddit on Tartaria. Uh, might be interesting to check out. I'm not on Reddit anymore, but this one, there's no commentary on this one, but this is a interesting video because they're just showing what they're calling the antiquitech on top of buildings, right? And we have all these massive, unbelievable creations, these structures that are so amazing, built of just stone, of no wood, all stone. But in a lot of these old world photos, you'll see metal spires or different types of metal. Well, I believe they were antennas, like here, towers. You also see cables and wires in a lot of cases. But they're showing like the metal components that were up top, on top of buildings. And I'm sure some of these have the quote unquote date up top as well. But no, the the claim in a lot of these videos, which I have such a big problem with, is they're like, oh, they were harvesting energy from the ether. They were so advanced, that's how they were so advanced. That's how they were able to build all these stone structures. And I'm like, no, that's not an explanation. That's just gobbled. That's woo woo. Like to say, like, yes, there is atmospheric potential. There is energy in the atmosphere, like 100 volts per meter. But the atmosphere has very, very low amperage. So just there's you're not explaining like where's the energy being harvested from, and it's just like this, oh well, the ether did it. There's no, it's disinfo to say, like, to dissuade you, or misinfo to misdirect you to say that, oh, we can't do this today because, oh, it was like they were so advanced. So you get the idea. And this, I'm not going to leave a link to this, because if you can, if you're interested in the topic, you'll already be watching or seeing videos, and all kinds of these different interesting metal works that were on top of buildings, and all, or ornamental too. Everything was artistically crafted with love and the um, a thought for the future, and engineering, like functionality and beauty all combined. Um, so let's see what's next here. I have, oh yeah, so this guy is showing he's my video is probably in the way. Let's see if I can do this. So he's there on the left of the video. He's got these ferrite rods, and they're not that long, and he's able to receive and decode, or he's getting like Morse code signals. He's able to receive in the ULF. This I think that 30,000 hertz, which is not ULF. It's ELF, very low frequency range. But he's able to receive in the ULF range, just with these smallish, not too large metal devices. So, that's my claim here, is that the metal work and stuff that was on old buildings was were antennas for ULF, and then for transmitting. I mean, that I believe you need a very large antenna for the transmission um, of the waves. Oh, I didn't. I thought that switched. That's why. Okay, so now you can see the rods there on the left of the video, but he describes them: 2-inch diameter, 10-inch length, air ducts, coils, 20 ferrite rods. So you get the idea there. Let's see. Now, oh yeah, when it comes to all this old tech, there's this idea of duper's delight, or the duping delight, and it's duper's delight, or duping delight, is the pleasure of being able to manipulate or deceive someone, often made visible and obvious to others by flashing a smile at an inappropriate moment, getting delight out of duping an unsuspecting person. So you're a psychopath, a sociopath, you get your jollies by doing this. And I mean, so much of our world today is this, in the sense that knowledge is like is grabbed onto, or, oh no, you need to pay to go through the process to get licensed to become a master builder or master electrician. I'm not saying, slave master. I mean a mastery of a craft, right? You have to you have to go through all this training and stuff. Like, the knowledge should be freely given and shared, in my opinion. But during the 1800s, you had these sanitariums, and you had this electrotherapy that you can look up, and I believe this was some duping delight, because I mean, you're a sociopath, and you're like, convince people, like, oh yeah, come in to the sanitarium to heal yourself, and we're going to use the electric devices that we found, that we stole, and we're going to shock you and electrocute you with them. But you think you're getting healed, and we're going to get our rocks off, our jollies off, from you getting shocked. I mean, there were deaths, and people died from electrocution in some of these cases. Let's see. This guy, this is one of the devices.
Hey, in case you wonder what you're looking.
And you can see, it's he'll zoom in a little bit more there, but it is a hopefully, yeah, I'm not in the way, but it is a glass tube that has some sort of gas in it, and then it's becoming electrically charged, and he's getting like a static shock. Basically, it's not a lot. Obviously, it's not enough for him to pull his hand away, but he's getting like a static charge there through the glass and onto his skin. Now, I believe, and they use these for the electrotherapy in the 1800s, and I believe they had some other technical use related to the advanced electronics and machinery involved with what I'm describing, the automated airship travel and the sending and receiving, decoding of radio signals. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, and then, okay, I'm going to talk about bells now, because this is another piece of the disinfo and misinfo that you'll find a lot when you're looking at videos about the old world. We had massive number of church bells that got destroyed, taken out of circulation, removed. And same thing with the energy from the ether. So many people are claiming, oh, these bells were for, they were healing energies. They would ring, and then a healing resonance would go through the building or the church and your body and stuff like that. No, no, same thing. Like, what are you talking about? Describe how does that work? If that is some healing energy, we could produce that energy today and heal. But what is it? It's woo woo gobbledygook. Okay, it's no, it's it's, I guess they're appealing to people's hope for a better world, like a a loving, peaceful world with abundance that we used to have, instead of this freaking garbage of civilization, garbage of technology. So the bells. This is continuing on with what I believe, again, entertainment purposes only, and these are my theories and thoughts on all of this. That I want to make sure that I'm worried about, but so the bells. All right, let's see. This is good. So you hear there. So the guy is taking.
There's a reason we don't see the.
Oh, this guy's probably going to make the claim too that it's the healing energies. But what the guy there, he is tapping a tuning fork, getting the tuning fork to ring, and then he's putting it up on the bell, and the bell is resonating at that same frequency. And now the converse would, the reverse of that would happen too, but you wouldn't be able to. It'd be hard to record the sound, meaning you could ring the bell, it'd be super loud, and the whole room, the whole building would start vibrating at that resonance, right? And so if you had a tuning fork, attached to the building, on the building, the tuning fork would start to resonate and ring with, if the frequencies matched, right? So my claim is that the bells were used for tuning what? Crystals. Tuning crystals that then would resonate with the frequencies needed for ULF, for decoding, receiving ULF, and then also I'm guessing there was something with transmitting as well. And the crystals were also uh, they burned holographic data onto crystals. So we have, our stolen history is not completely lost. We're going to be able to find remnants of it in old antique crystals and gemstones that are probably sitting in a museum drawers or in people's heirloom jewelry, crystals and gemstones from 1800s or earlier, that are sitting in people's have been passed down and sitting in people's jewelry boxes as well. So it's not all lost. And that's where I think like building plans and steam engine and all kinds of different technical drawings have been stored in. Let's see, bell effects. Oh, so there's this continuing on the bell theme. So I'm not going to play the
in Venom 2's ending.
I'm not going to play the the audio on this, but the in the there's this saying that I think I got from RV Truth or Russian Vids channel, truth in movies and lies on the news, meaning what we've been given as our the official story, breaking news, 6 o'clock, right, is all lies. And I think a lot of people, if you've heard the phrase "everything we've been taught is a lie," it, you start to see all this like as part of the Matrix coding. But the truth in movies, so in the Venom series, whichever movie this one was, they're ringing a church bell, and the Venom creature, who is a parasite, is like a black goo kind of amorphous gooey creature. He starts freaking out and and dissolving and breaking apart. And so I think this actually points to one reason, possible reason why the bells were completely removed, was because the current uh, creatures that are behind the curtain are using these ultra low frequencies in some sort of communication, in some sort of share, able to um, share their consciousness, or so the cohesion of that would be lost on in the presence of a church bell resonating or ringing at the right frequency in the ultra low frequency radio. It would be disrupted. Um, Let's see. Now let's continue on. Oh yeah, there's some massive bells. This is one of the largest ones out there. The Tsar bell in Russia. It was here. It's broken, of course, right? So it weighs over 200,000 kilograms, over 445,000 pounds. Okay. And talking about the frequency range, it was somewhere here. The fundamental frequency of the sound was approximately 81 hertz. So that's in the ultra low. Now that's actually in the ELF spectrum, which was something like 30 to 300 hertz. So, so again, I think I have. Let me see. Somewhere here, I have the radio frequency. But let me. Okay, keep that in mind. This is just a list of all these super massive bells. God, there was one that was over almost 650,000 pounds, 294 tons. It was stolen and lost. How the F you steal it? What? And lost. Okay. Oh, this one got recycled. Oh, for the war. We need that seal for the war. Like, and again, you'll get this, the woo woo. Oh, it's for healing it. No. Oh yeah, I'll definitely give a link to this. Let's see, this should work. So this is I'll give a link to this site because they actually catalog over 46,000 church bells, and they do an analysis of the frequencies. And this center A here, I think it's this column here is 440 hertz, so right in that range, right? And they have the minimum that they tested was 247 hertz, and the maximum was 8,380 hertz. And so you say like, well, wait, that's not like, really in that range. I was talking about like 1898 or 1877 or whatever supposed year of construction type of number, right? But there could be like some sort of translation going on. We could have been using a different number base, like base 60 was heavily was is a very important number base because it goes way back to the Sumerians and Assyrians. I don't I'm That's a big rabbit hole I don't want to go down, but it was the number of like the sky god Anu. I believe his number was 60. There's a lot of reasons why base 60 is important because it relates back to sacred geometry, because the Pythagorean theorem, and also relating to the golden ratio, the golden mean. So all kinds of big rabbit hole on that one. It could do a whole video on that. But so there could have been some sort of translation or some different type of logarithmic scale related to translating that, let's say 1898 number into the actual like frequency that would have been maybe a lower number. That's theoretical, but it doesn't matter. The 1898, just that frequency is in the spectrum that would work. Like here's the ranges on the this one, the ultra low frequency range, 300 to 3000 hertz, and the wavelength range. This is like optimal conditions. 300 hertz would go 1,000 kilometers. 3,000 hertz would go 100 kilometers, and then we have that SAR bell was at 81 hertz. So that's called the SLF, the super low. And then we have the ELF, the extremely low frequency. And I think this is the range that like the Schumann resonance is at, which is an interesting topic. But it's also like I think some more duping delight or the truth in movies when we're talking about elves, the elf, the elf signal. What? The signal from the elves? No, I mean the extremely low frequency signal as being like magical, right? There's no such thing as magic. That's kind of what I'm alluding to as well in this. There's advanced technology that it appears indistinguishable to us as as magic because we don't understand it, right? Okay, continuing on here. The ultra low frequency here was a 500 hertz signal that they used in this. This was in New York, New Jersey. Where did I see? I thought it said. I must be missing it. So they're like, oh, this band is used for communication in mines, so that as it can penetrate the earth. So you want to create a straight like horizontal shaft in a mine. You would use ultra low frequencies, and you could create a very straight line. Let's see. So this was Ambro. Oh, I got a mouse over it. Ambrose channel pilot cable. So this was that 500 hertz signal was used to provide an audio tone for guiding ships in and out of the port during periods of low visibility. Well, if it was used for guiding, what couldn't you automatically guide the ships? You wouldn't need a person to track the signal. You could automatically do it with electronics. I think so. So let's continue. Ground wave. Okay. Radio control RC. Oh, okay. So now when we're talking about, so my claim is that the bells were used for tuning crystals because the crystals resonating can through the piezoelectric effect, mechanical stress, they can resonate. They will have a specific resonance that they're tuned to depending on the size and the shape of the crystal. The let's see. I'll continue on, but this goes again back to like the duping delight because I believe in these structures, these old buildings, there's a few examples where they had quote unquote fireplaces that had no exhaust vents. So there, if you burned wood in there, the whole room would fill up with smoke. It was like, well, it obviously wasn't a fireplace. What was it used? It wasn't for burning wood. What was the fire there? And here they're showing like a piece of radium sitting inside of the fireplace. And I believe that's what so many of these old churches and bells were used for. They were in city centers, which were like technological hubs for our some civilization that was cooperative based, sharing cooperative based, and the technology there was to to create crystals and tune them to specific frequencies. And the radium comes into play because radium produces all kinds of radiation, but gamma particles, and the gamma particles can irradiate gemstones and increase and enhance the optical characteristics of gemstones. Okay, so I believe same thing in the duping delight. They found the radium in a lot of these old buildings, and then they're gonna like feed it back to us to poison us as like a joke. They get off on. Here is like an old heater, and you can the airflow mechanism there to increase or decrease airflow looks exactly like the radiation symbol of today. And this guy has some examples, but yeah, when radium decays, it's ionizing radiation, which can excite fluorescent chemicals and cause radioluminescence. And we had like radium chocolate, and they had, the radium glow in the dark watches. But radium chocolate, and there's all this stuff like, oh, it was like the radium water is to heal you, and because it's the charged particles will charge you up and give you energy, and it's again duper's delight, in my opinion. It was a advanced technological civilization that got wiped out. Um, anyway, all kinds of examples. I'll link to this site. This is from a interesting site called stolenhistory.org, and they have all kinds of different, many different articles and topics and discussions about stolen history. So I don't agree with some of the conclusions, because it's like there's these themes of the misinfo and disinfo that I talked about. Like, no, this is not, there. What was it? The women that were painting the radium on watches, on the they were actually taught to, like, oh, lick the brush that has the radium paint to help you get a finer tip. Again, they were probably taught that by one of these clown controllers. Got their sociopath got their right. Okay, let's continue on. Oh yeah, and so this is just anything. This just is talking about the different radium fireplaces and stuff. I'm not going to cover this. Oh yeah, Madame Curie. I'm not going to link to this because I think he misinfo, like, oh, it's really healing energy. No, I don't know. You know, using it just using the radium for heating doesn't make sense, because we had much better technology that I talked about in previous episodes. We had solar furnaces through heliostats, concentrating sunlight, the power of the sun, for all kinds of uses. We had hydrogen and oxygen production plants. So burning hydrogen produces massive amounts of heat, and it's the cleanest thing ever because the waste is just water vapor ship, right? So the sense that you're going to go through all this work because there's so much effort required to purify, you have to go through so much material, like the uranium pitch blend or something, so much material to get the radium, like to use it for heating doesn't make sense. That was just happened to be a side effect of it. But the in my opinion, the use was to clarify, to purify, to enhance gemstone. um, and oh yeah, it's also interesting that radium, the atomic symbol is Ra, like the sun god Ra, and the atomic number is 88. And if you've watched like truther videos or conspiracy videos, the number 88 makes an appearance in a lot of video, a lot of truth in the movies type of stuff. Because 88 also can symbolize the analemma, which is the movement of the sun and the moon tracked over. You take a photo or the sun moon at the same from the same spot at the same time every day. It makes a figure eight. The moon cycle may be longer than a year. I don't remember. But that's a analemma, and so 88 would be sun and moon throughout the year. Ionizing radiation, but 88 probably might signify radium, some sort of hidden message there. I don't know. So here, yeah, gemstone irradiation. So this is a process. A gemstone is intentionally exposed to large amounts of ionizing radiation in order to enhance its optical properties. So we can, like, if the gemstone has like inclusions in it, like defects, I guess radiation can clear it out. Um, and then the first documented artificially irradiated gemstone was this guy, supposedly 1905. And then they talk about the changes in color depending on um, the gemstone and after its exposure to radiation. And oh yeah, then we had all this uranium glass. And the reason I'm talking about this is, well, it fluoresces bright green under ultraviolet light. So you put some piece of radium or something in there that is radioactive, it would fluoresce. The more the fluorescence, the brighter the fluorescence, the more X-rays it's producing. You get almost like a measurement of the radiation coming off whatever substance you put in there. Meaning, right, the more radiation. But the main thing here is like this tech is ancient because they're saying the uranium glass dates back to 79 AD. So like over, almost 2000 years ago, and it's like why would you care? Why do you care? You can make, I'm sure you can make green glass some other way. What do you care that, but the property of the glass actually fluorescing under ultraviolet, why would that be important? Because of the technology that has been lost. Okay, let's keep going here. Oh yeah, the Bernoulli method. So talking about all these gemstones, we were able to make the man-made synthetic gemstones in the 1800s from this technology that they found. This guy didn't build this device. It was found the cities and all this tech was found dead, and then they rewrote history. And like going back to like my claim or my idea about that the dates are actually radio frequency IDs, it gives you the ability to rewrite history completely. Like this Planisphère map, right? So this is actually supposedly, I found three different versions of it from three different years, supposedly. But what this could also mean is that, let's look here, zoom in. So you see these, all the vapor ship routes here in red, and the blue stuff is electric routes, and a whole world covered in these routes. But these dates, that like this one is supposedly from 1876, but what this could mean is that the peoples and the locality of where these peoples are living has a radio frequency ID number of 1876. Like that's our call sign, whoever, whatever group I'm, my people, right? Or maybe it's like different guilds, different types of technological, scientific, craftsman type of organizations, corporations of men specialized in specific functions. This is our map of our routes for the 1876 ID, right? And then this one was the one from 1889, and in this one they have all these different quote unquote dates here, that supposedly these transatlantic cables were created or dropped in the ocean, undersea cables. But no, I'm saying that these are radio frequency ID numbers. And then this was the latest one I found from 1895. So yeah, what I'm saying is like by changing the context from like what I'm describing, that this was for automated travel, these frequency ID numbers, to change that to say no, it's a year, it's a date, you solidify it, you cast it into like the timeline. And then there's all kinds of documentation and books saying where such and such was born, so and so was born in, or such and such happened in 1877, let's say, right? And so by lets you rewrite history when really it was just a record of a happening, like not the time. Um, they, sorry, I'm getting off track here, but um, you can just rewrite all kinds of. You can like reshape what the understanding was of the old world by changing the context from this what I'm describing to a year, right? And then okay, let's continue on. The Bernoulli method. So just using the oxygen and hydrogen flame, oxyhydrogen flame, which I talked about, they were able to create man-made rubies and sapphires, different forms of corundum, which I guess is just aluminum oxide. But this is an example where they have a fine powder of the right elements or molecules, and they're hitting it with this super hot oxygen and hydrogen flame, and they're able to create man-made crystals. Fascinating. Okay, keep going here. Crystal oscillator. So this is where, this idea that the crystal, we're using crystals today all over the place when we're talking about transmitting and receiving radio signals. Now the range, the frequencies are much higher than what I'm talking about. They're in 16 kilohertz or megahertz in this case, because let's see here, because um, somewhere here, where did it go? This one, yeah, the frequency of a crystal. So the oscillation is related to the frequency. So that over here, it was like 16 megahertz or whatever. But the longer the crystal is, the slower it shakes. The thicker the crystal is, the slower it shakes. So the larger the crystal, the lower that resonance will be, that oscillation will be. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm getting at with what was going, or my theory on what was going on with crystals and the bell. And then oh, okay. Talking more about this idea, truth in movies and lies on the news. The showing us, advanced tech, and then claiming like, oh no, this is just a movie. This is just sci-fi.
What device does
Stuff like
Rocky
that.
use to?
So in this this movie Project Hail Mary that just came out, the creature uh, creates this large crystal because he cannot see in the light spectrum that humans see. It's like he sees like in a radar type of way. I don't think they actually say it, but that's what it looks like to me. And so in my opinion, they're showing you like some truth in plain sight, that the crystals are advanced technology that we should be that obviously we should be going back to utilizing. And then the other thing with like, do I have, where's that at? Yeah, this one. There's same thing with what I was talking about, like with energy from the ether. Oh, the bells were healing resonance stuff. There's all this woo-woo nonsense when we're talking about crystals. Like, oh, so much. Like people are like, oh, this one is gonna give you a calming effect. This one's gonna energize your blah blah chakra. Like it's all it's all BS, man. It's like just woo-woo nonsense to like put you into like this dreamland. Like I don't know, man. It's like, what what does that mean? Like, well, you just have to trust the crystal resonates with your resonance. So if you're negative, oh, you're not going to get the positive benefit, right? Always be positive. I'm sorry, I'm just so sick of all this nonsense. When it was it was technological use, industrial uses for all of this stuff that from the old world. But this site, yeah, there's all this. I'm just showing this site because this one gets into the whole. There's all this stuff, and like I went to some gem shop, crystal shop, and they had, it was all that woo woo stuff. Like this is good for healing this and this chakra, and it's like nowhere did they have the chemical formula of, you know, of the actual crystal. And the ancient Egypt was called the, oh gosh, I think it was the land of Kemet, which is the basis for the word chemistry, right? And the whole thing with like Osiris and which one was it? His 14 parts were broken up. Yeah, there's 14 numbers when it comes to what? pH balance, right? The putting back the 14 would be like getting back to the technology, the chemistry that the ancients were masters of. And not everybody, like there was probably guilds and specializations and stuff like that. Because not everyone had, I don't have, the mental capacity or the natural aptitude for like advanced physics or advanced mathematics. I don't, I never have, but I can kind of see what I can kind of like good art. I can appreciate it. I can't create it. Okay. Um, so along these lines with crystals, there's so much in movies, media, role playing games, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. all this stuff about wizards and the crystals. This is famous scene from where, you know, he's battling the Balrog, and of course he's got his wizard staff, and then what has he got up top? It's a crystal, and then look, oh, it generates. There's scenes where he generates. Look, the crystal's glowing, the dark crystal, it's glowing, and he generates light in different parts of the series. But in this one, he's able to. Where is it? He creates like a force field or something. Yeah, he creates a force field to stop the Balrog sword, right? Yeah, he creates a force field. Oh, boom. And then in this movie, it was the Desolation of Smog. He battles the misty. The Sauron is like in this amorphous, like black cloud, and of course he's got his magic wizard staff. And if you look at the light here, this is not like pure like in other parts of the series. He's shining just like what looks like sunlight or bright candlelight, but this has like a shading to it that almost looks like ultraviolet or something to me, or x-ray light almost. But you know, it keeps the dark one at bay, right? Same thing, truth in movies. They're showing you the power that can be had with the resonance of crystals, in my opinion. So let's see what else. Talking about, okay, this was just articles talking about the creation of ultra low frequency signals. This was an article on a flexible magnet based antenna enabling low frequency cross medium communication between unmanned systems, automated travel, right? And yeah, I'll definitely link to this one because they had this, just kind of shows you. But the cave in, cave out, anything through the ground, through water, ultra low frequency, extremely low frequencies are going to be the best for that. And then let's see what else I got. Okay, that, what determines, I already talked about that. Oh, this was just another conspiracy theory guy where this guy supposedly, Mark Cummings, he was a physicist. So the thing was that supposedly he created something, device, and got more energy out of a crystal than he inputted. I'm not going to link to this, but it's like if he, oh, a method for creating free energy. Oh, it's from the ether, right? But if this is something that he actually did, it seems like he would be able to reproduce it, right? So let's continue on here. Wireless telegraphy, radio spectrum, talked about that. The cargo cult, yeah, so much of this, like when we're talking about showing crystals in the context of like, oh, a wizard staff with my crystal on top, right? And I'm gonna cast the magic spell. It's like cargo cult stuff. But so okay, last one along these lines of truth in movies. This is
where he came for
Superman. Superman Returns from 2006, and here Lex Luthor and his gang are going to the Fortress of Solitude, and it's all.
This is more of a monument to a long dead and extremely powerful civilization.
Yes, our old civilization.
Where he learned who he was. This is where he came for guidance.
Oh, what's that? Is that a hexagram behind him?
Possibilities. Endless possibilities.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole I'll talk about at some other point. But when we're talking about crystals, permutations and possibilities, the wavelengths and the communication, getting into hypercomputing. What's hypercomputing? It's like three-dimensional computing. Like what? Right. Exactly. It's a whole nother rabbit hole I'll talk about. But yeah, so he's at the Fortress of Solitude, and of course, it's all crystal based, right? There's the large crystal control panel here, and then he gets in for he wakes up the Jarrell artificial intelligence program, to teach him, you know, what about Superman.
Tell me everything, starting with Chris.
Yeah, truth in movies. And so let's continue on, but in the next part.
Ordering fur coats online.
Okay, so here,
unlocking the secrets of one of the most advanced civilizations in the universe.
Weren't there two of those?
You see, unlike our clunky earthbound forms of construction, the technology on Krypton, Superman's home world, was based on manipulating the growth of crystals.
Sounds like hocus pocus to me.
Well, naturally, to the primitive mind, any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic.
yeah, I think that's a quote from one of those pervs, Isaac Asimov or Arthur C. Clarke. I think Isaac Asimov. I don't know if he was a perv, but his son was, at the time when his son was arrested, he had the largest stash of like child porn ever since from at that point, found on his laptop. So I think that quote's from Isaac Asimov, but I could be wrong. But yeah, any sufficiently advanced technology appears to those who don't understand it as magic, right? And that's going back to like the wizards and all this stuff with magic crystals, right? But it's interesting, Lex's boy city here.
But imagine cities, vehicles, weapons, all grown.
Oh, and look, what's that? What's flying around? Oh, an airship. Is that on an automated route?
One could create a new world with such a simple little object.
Oh, no, this is just sci-fi. It's just a movie. No.
It's like a
Real,
seed.
so in here, oh, and all it needs is water. So like going back, I don't need to show it, but that Bernoulli method, what did they use to create the crystals? Oxygen and hydrogen. Well, that's not water. No, that's what water is made of. So if you expand out the word water, and say, what is water? Right? Oh, it's a molecule of hydrogen and oxygen, right? So in a sense, all it needs is hydrogen and oxygen, and burning that together. Now here they don't show you, they're not burning oxygen and hydrogen.
And all it needs
He just
is water.
takes
Like sea monkeys.
Exactly.
like sea monkeys. That's man, the creatures behind the curtain, we're sea monkeys, and that's a whole nother. Okay, so he shaves off a tiny piece of the crystal and drops it in the water, and it starts precipitating and growing a larger amount of crystals. And then also
Clark?
and then it actually, as it creates some sort of electromagnetic pulse, it starts growing, and it disrupts cuts the power all across the world for like a few seconds. Kind of brings back up. But just some more truth in plain sight, in my opinion. Is that it? Anyway, so let's see. Make sure. Okay, my video didn't die. Okay, that's basically all for now. Just lots of ideas and theories for entertainment purposes only to think about that I covered, relating back to airships, but so much that we've been lost, but we can get it back. Our old history, our lost engineering plans and schematics and technology is burned, I have no doubt, somewhere out there. It exists as holographic data that's been burned into gemstones. I don't know which ones, what kind. Could even be like crystalline forms of salt and things like that as well, I believe. So anyway, that's all for now. All right, take care.